Hi folks, back in Denholm again today, and what I plan on doing is taking the ancient Kirk walk from here up to Cavers, and along the way I'm going to tell a few stories. This here is the monument that was placed in honour of Dr. John Leyden, or Leyden, however you want to pronounce it. Leyden, I think it is. Denholm's most famous son. He was a scholar, a poet, and he almost became a preacher. Spent a little bit of time doing some preaching before he went on his travels, and died in, I think it was Java, where he's buried today. And I don't know if you've seen previous videos or no, but there's 2 or 3 monuments to the guy around here. There's this one here, there's one out on the road, the back road, which we're going to start taking out to Bonchester Bridge before I turn off to go into the Denholm Dean. And there's a couple of monuments in the ancient Cavers Kirk, which you've probably seen in my previous videos. So this monument stood here, and in this exact place at one point stood the primary school before it was moved. It's moved a couple of places since it was moved from here. Yeah. So we're still in Denholm, and this is Westgate Hall. It's the oldest building in Denholm, and it was rebuilt in, I believe, 1643. Although I could have that date wrong, I could have it mixed up with the date of the kirk up at Cavers, which was rebuilt around about the same time. If you notice that there, that end cable-stone, that represents Robert the Bruce, the heart of the Bruce, the real brave heart. Now the rebuild was rebuilt by the Laird of Cavers at the time, who was Archibald Douglas. I should see the date stone round here in a second. But before the rebuild, it was supposedly a fort. I got the date wrong, 1663, no 43. It was supposedly a fort, which I would assume would look like similar to Fat Lips Castle, because that was the sort of thing that folks built back then, in defence of the English. The age of it, initially they reckon, they don't know the original date, but they reckon it was as early as the year 1200. Okay, so now we're pretty much leaving Denholm at the moment. And we're just up, and that wee slip there is the entrance to the Dean. Now we are actually on the ancient Cavers to Denholm Kirk walk at the moment. It's changed a bit over the years, and what I'm going to try and do, and I think I've got it pretty much sussed out, but what I'm going to try and do is follow the original Kirk walk and show you it. And along the way there's got to be some things or places I'm going to point out, but at the same time as me pointing some things and places out, there's some pretty important things that I'm not going to point out because I've been asked not to, by landowners, and I've got to respect their wishes. But I'll point out what I can. At some point in the 1950s, the bottom part of Denholm Dean was given over and sold from the Douglas clan. It was sold into private hands and has since been handed over to the village of Denholm. And one of the things that the village had to do to keep it in their hands and be able to use it as common land for teaching and walks and all that sorts of other stuff was to get rid of all the non-natural British trees and replace them with natural British trees. Last year the trees come down. It took a couple of months to take them down, and as you can see, the village volunteers from the village have come along and replanted and laid new footpaths and improved the quality of the footpaths and set up wee places so they can teach the school kids and stuff like that. And they've done an awesome job, an absolutely awesome job of it. But we're not going down that way, we're going up this way. This is the ancient walk here. It's kind of slippery underfoot. We had an inch of snow in Denholm yesterday and a couple of inches in Hoyk, and Cavers, from what I've been told, had about 3 inches, and they had some more overnight up at Cavers. So we've got it melting here at Denholm just now, but from what I've been told this morning, it's just pure white up there. So it's going to be a good opportunity for me to capture some pictures of Cavers House with a snowdrop, with snow surrounding it. Sorry, it's no drop shit, it's too early. Which is, snow's the only seasonal photo that I haven't caught of Cavers House yet. Yeah, looking forward to it. So this gate we're approaching just now, 8 AM, marks the end of Denholm owned Dean. Once we go through this gate, we're onto private land. I've said in the earlier videos, I'm in Scotland, and this is a core path. Here in Scotland, got right to Rome, which is not only a core path, it's an ancient core path. I don't know how else to describe where I am. Court path or footway point, showing the way there. As I say, Denholm paths, and it's pointing down the way. Okay. No, I'm not going to run all the way down. We are maybe a quarter of a mile for the gate. I'm going to go down here for a second, I'll show you something. Okay, so there's a path coming down that I've just taken, and I've turned in here rather than going all the way down. Back during the time of the Covenanters, when it was illegal to practice the old faith here in Scotland, the Covenanters hid away and kept practicing their old religion. And there was 3 points around here where it's known that they practiced their religion, and I believe this to be one of them. This is Pedon's Point. I think it's called Pedon's Point. There's Pedon's Pulpit, which is up on top of Ruber's Law, and then there's in Westgate Hall itself. And I do have a copy of a photograph which was taken at some point, I believe in the 18th century. I may at some point show you it in another video. I've not got it with me today, but the reason I think this is Pedon's Point, it's known that they used to gather just down for the old tea house or hunting lodge, and this is a couple of turnings down for it, no far away at all. But the reason I think that this is where it is now, obviously I could be wrong, but see that stain pipe hanging out of there? That's evidence of an old building here in this bit of the Dean. So every time I see it, my head just screams meeting point. And obviously I don't know how old that pipe is. It might not be that old at all, but it might be. And obviously I could be wrong. It might not be this point, it could be one of the points that are nearer to the old tea room than here. But every time I see that pipe, it just screams it at me. If you've never been down in the Dean, then I can only highly recommend it. As you can see from what I'm showing, and I'm fully aware the video isn't showing the beauty that I'm seeing. And I mean, this goes on for a good mile and a half. Absolutely stunning place. So see me back up the top now. Back up on the original walk. So I'm just above the old tea room there now. There's the path from along there. And the reason I've come here to be able to show you the tea room, but you can see it through the trees there. Zoom in. And the reason I've come here today, or to this point on it anyway, just there, I'll zoom it again, just there, used to be a bridge crossing, and was it there? It was, yeah, just there. There's a pathway in there, and it turns just in behind those trees that are shown, and it goes up the cliff face, and there's ancient stepping stones, sorry, gone up the side of the cliff face, and about halfway up, maybe a wee bit more than halfway up, there's a viewpoint which will be excellent at this time of year because all the leaves are off the trees. I'll try and do a video it maybe next week, maybe this week even, walking up there and showing you the viewpoint of the waterfall, the largest waterfall in Denholm Dean. And if you carry on right up the top, it takes you to the Denholm Bunchester Bridge Road end, which you can walk down for Denholm into for there. I'll try and do that this week if I can, weather permitting of course. I'm not going to come out if it's bucketing down, although the snow doesn't really bother me. So that's that. You see the cartwheel tracks. I'll show you them at the other end as well. They're just coming out not far away from here, but that's signs of this being the original Kirk walk. Obviously on a Sunday they couldn't use the carriage and horses. They couldn't even mount horseback back in the days. Absolutely taboo. When I say taboo, I mean absolutely taboo. They would put the fear of God into you, and you'd be punished in quite a few different ways. You'd be ostracised for society, and if you missed a Kirk session back in the days, oh my God. Used to have folks spitting on you and all sorts. So yeah, things were an awful lot more strict than the other day. Yeah. Anyway, this is the other end of where the ancient track used to go. So, when I said ostracised, you couldn't avoid folks, and if you're ostracised for the Kirk, because of some sin you'd committed, you were made to go on. You weren't made, but I suppose you were. Everyone was running by fear back in the days. You were made to go on and sit outside the Kirk. There's stories of folks up at Kirkton who, when they were ostracised, they were made to sit on the step for months outside the Kirk gate, and folks would spit on them and all sorts on the road into the Kirk, and it would take months before you would be forgiven, and you had to do things to gain that forgiveness and be allowed back into the Kirk. Yeah, I'm stood now. I'm just about, there's the where I'm about to exit the Dean. Down here, this is the trackway, the entrance, the drive down to the old Tierham, or the ancient hunting lodge as it once was. It was a hunting lodge that was built by the Douglases back in the 17th century, I think it was, 1600s, because obviously they owned this land, and they owned it all the way down to Spitland Row, and this was where they used to come and hunt their deer. So that's why they built the hunting lodge, which obviously in the 1800s became the tea room, which at one point was a very popular place. So I'm just about to leave Denholm now. Yeah, so I'm sort of 3/4 of the way in the field after exiting Denholm, and there's a view there of Ruber's Law, and up there, like I mentioned earlier, is Beden's pulpit. It's one of many pulpits that the Reverend Alexander Beden, the Covenanter, preached from. Now, the Covenanters back in the days where it was outlawed to practice the old religion after the new one was brought in, and if you were caught practicing the old religion, you'd have your ears cut off, you'd have your face basically branded, they would cut your face, and then you'd be sent out for slavery for however many years. It could be 12 years, it could be 15, it could be whatever, depending on a number of things, I suppose. How you were when you were caught, whether you were violent or fighting or whatever, and depending on whatever sort of judge you had in his mood and all the rest of it. But that was the sentences of the Covenanters. Now, I believe this to be still the original Kirk walk that I'm on now. I'm just about to come onto what I believe is the original road. Been here for a few centuries, and this building here used to be the old sawmill, or you know, the old sawmills for cavers. There's evidence still inside it of it being a sawmill. Moving on this way, and we're up to this farm here, East Middle, and it's where the path has changed over the years. Now, from this point on, I'm not going to take what is considered today to be the ancient Kirk walk, which is a bit unfortunate because it will take us past Midgard House, which is in the woods there. But I'm going to go on the other side, and unfortunately I can't walk the whole path, but I can point it all out. And the reason I can't walk it is because it's owned by a few different folk today. Most of them farming, no all of them by any means, but they've all got animals, and all the fields are electrified, and I'm damn sure I'm no jumping over and under electric fences, especially not on a day like today. So I'll take it the best I can, but I'll show you on the video where the original pathway was, and you should be able to see it. Buzzard there. Love spotting wildlife, absolutely love it. It really makes my heart sing. Right, so I've just come up the hill, zoom out, sorry, and as you can see there, I'm at the other side of East Middle Farm. Now, the path of the day goes along here and up that end of the field there. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm convinced it used to come down here, and you'll see how when we get to the trees. On that side of the trees is a bit of the original walkway, which you'll see when we get there. So we need to go on this way of the day, the side of the farm, and a straight path up as soon as we get round the corner. There's Ruber's Law again. There's the farm just down there. Don't know if there's any in the field at the moment. I can't see any. That field there, possibly that one, and definitely that one, are part of a deer farm. Right, these are the trees I was on about. What's considered the original path today goes up there. Can't see if you can see where my finger is, where the cottage is. And straight up the path round there, and it takes you around Midgard, around back Midgard, and a few of the other houses. can make it out for here. The path runs from there. And it either goes in through the trees on the side of it and down to East Middle Farm for here. And the reason I can tell you that, you make it out, we're on what used to be an old drive or an old road. Which to my thinking, the ancient Kirk walk. And this the day, as you can see, quite pigeon shooting with a farmer. Those trees over there, that's where the temporary ancient Roman fort was. I'll take a walk up there at some point, might even do it today. There's some mere clay pigeons there, a couple of stacks or racks for them. We've reached the end of this pathway or roadway or walkway. I'm saying a roadway because it obviously has been used at some point in the past by carriage and horse. Obviously the Douglases used to use it to get down to the hunting lodge and stuff. And Denholm Ian Point used to be the biggest market town in the area. When we were given permission, of course, by the ward. Now this pathway wasn't just used as a Kirk walk, it was also used for things like kids going back and forward to Denholm, for Denholm McCavers, for school and stuff like that. Right, if you can see it or not, just there, which is, it looks like roadway to me there. It's banked off and levelled and then drops again, which tells me it came along here and up here. Obviously I could be wrong, it's only my own guesswork, but it certainly looks as if it's right. As you'll see from the other side, I'm going out at the top end of that field and I'll show you the other side of the woods for there, and you should be able to see the ancient road or pathway for there. So I'm at the opposite end of the field now, and you can still make out that bit road there. Right, like I said, electric fences everywhere, you know, but taking the route I'm taking, I'm going up into that next field and I'll walk the end and I'll avoid them. But every field is surrounded by electric fencing. Now the road, I don't know if you can make it out there or no. If I zoom in, see it coming through the trees, running along. Now, I'm not sure if it's running into the middle of that field or no. I would assume so, because if I zoom in there, you can actually see, maybe not so clearly with the snow being on it, but if I zoom it, that bit there is where it comes through to the other side of Caver's Garden Farm. So I'm in this field now, and we are at what I believe was the very start of Cavers Township, and we're still 3/4 of a mile for Cavers House. You can just make it out through the trees there. It's 3/4 of a mile away from where I am now. But as I walk through this field, I can, in person anyway, I can certainly notice the humps and bumps of where the cottages and that were. But it's even more prominent in the next field over. start to see them on now. There's you in there. There's another in there. And I believe another one there. You can certainly make that out on the video, or I can make it out on the screen anyway. Now, I pointed out earlier, the Roman fort is just over there. It's like 2 fields lengths away from here. I had somebody point out to me, and I'm going to make a video on it at some point. An ancient burial cist. An ancient burial cist was maybe Bronze Age or Stone Age, where a cist was a box-shaped burial plot which was made with slabs of stone, and this thing was uncovered in 1894 by I can't remember what rank he was. Was he Lieutenant Murray, who lived in these cottages here, you know, these ones, and he went and notified Captain James Palmer Douglas, and I believe that was 1894, and they invited Kirk Archaeological Society up, and they uncovered it, and they potted the land around it, and the shape of the land around it was built up in a mound, almost like that of a bull's head with horns, or a ram's head even with horns, and the surrounding the cist in the ground were other human remains. But when they opened the cist itself, they uncovered a body that had no hands and no feet, and there was remains among the body. When I say remains, like an arrowhead and other stuff. And if you Google online, you'll find what Kirk Archaeological Society had to say about it back in 1800s. If you just Google burial cystic cavers, it should come up in the Google search, and you'll be able to read about it for yourself. But that was one of the local landowners that told me about it, and I went up and I found where it is, and I will go up there and make a video one day, soon, very soon, on that and the Roman fort. But as you can see much more clearly here, for the mounds in this field where the cottages and that were, I have also been told that in this field was the predecessor to Caver's House itself. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, because obviously Caver's House is as old as 1200, and probably older than that. 1200 was Lovell's, I think, before the Balios took it over. Yeah. Okay, so we're heading this way. Still try to keep ourselves as close to the original pathway for the ancient Kirk walk as possible. Now we're just about to enter the Caver's Garden farm. And this is where all the vegetables and stuff were grown for the house itself. this view you've got to get inside the walled bit of the garden. I'm certainly not got to I'm sticking my nose in. So I've come off the drive and taken this way. Now there's a story associated with this garden farm, and a man by the name of Willie Leggett. Willie Leggett was born, I do believe, in the year 1700. Although I've read varying accounts, and he lived for the years 1700 to 1750. And he was a man with learning difficulties, and his sister, I believe, worked up at Caver's house as a servant or a housemaid or something along the lines. And Lady Douglas of that time took first signs of spring. It's only the beginning of January. These seasons are out of pot. Yeah, the Lady Douglas of the time took sympathy on Willie Leggett, because Willie Leggett had learning difficulties. And again, it's not quite as bad today, but I do know that folks with learning difficulties or mental health problems are looked down upon in society, taking the mickey out of and taking advantage of. Now, things would have been an awful lot worse back in his day, but the lady of the house took sympathy on him, and she gave him odd jobs to do around Cavers. And there's record of him having been given suits of clothes and shoes and stuff paid for by Lady Douglas. But legend has it that during one of his jobs he was asked to come down here to the garden and get vegetables for the chef or the cook, and he come down with his basket and he got the wrong vegetables, and the cook or chef was in a bad mood that day, and he knifed him. He knifed Willie and he murdered him, and that's the story of Willie Leggett. But you can see an image of Willie if you go down to what is the Kirk today, or the church today, or Cavers in Kirkton, which is on the main road. It's no main road, it's a C road, I think, or a B road, heading up and into Cavers. But it's the church that's in use today. You'll find a carving that was made of him, which Lady Douglas commissioned. And the story goes that once the stone was made, a life-sized statue of Willie, it was put in the garden up at Caver's house, and it was shown to Willie, and the rest of the staff were there and they didn't like it. So he kicked it, and he kicked the ear off his dog, which is still missing today. Right, you'll not be able to see it for the trees on the video, but I can. Now just there is where the road is, and it comes down about here, and it crosses the burn round about here and joins onto where we're at. Now it might come along a wee bit further and cross there, but I think it crossed, certainly in this area it crossed. So this is us back on the original walkway Right, now I can't get round this way, but I need to go up there. But the pathway here, you can still see bits of the cartway here, and you'll see this better for the other side, I would think. But see how the road is raised there? Well, that's the road that they reckon today, they reckon is the ancient Kirk walk. But in reality, the actual original walkway went underneath this road. You just see a car passing in a second. That's very lucky. So there was a tunnel under where that car passed, and I know it because the landowner or that pathway or that road, part of the road, has told me about it. When he bought the land, the tunnel was still there and it was unsafe, and he went and tried to get quotes to have it repaired, and it was going to cost hundreds of thousands of pounds to have it fixed. So rather than doing that, to save a lot of money, he shored it up, he bricked it up. So the tunnel's still in there. He's told me that the tunnel was big enough for cart and horse, and that obviously it's been filled over and the road's been put over since. So I'll go over and I'll have a look, we'll have a look on the other side as well. Yeah, so on the other side of it now, and as you can see, you can get a better view of the height for here. Obviously it's a lot whiter as well, but we're not in the trees anymore. It's amazing how quickly it's gotten so white. That must be what, 2 inches, 3 inches, just like I was told this morning. So it's the ancient walk. I reckon whether it was there or there, and obviously the burn's there, I would assume possibly there, but I don't know. So I might be standing directly on the ancient Kirk walk now. I don't know though. If I'm not on it, I'm right next to it. Now, the reason that folks think that the roadway that gone round and up round is the ancient Kirk walk, it makes sense, can. When you follow the road up, you get to the road end, and then you've got a choice of going to Hoyk or down to Denholm, or Denholm and a cut off to go to Winchester Bridge, or a turn off to go up to Cavers itself. And if you take the turn off and go up to Cavers itself, you'll find right at the top the entrance to the ancient Kirk, which makes sense. But you know, the things when the new religion was brought in was that the Cavers Kirk became the new religion. And I don't know why that was. I would assume it would be just a wee bit of common sense for the Douglases. If we fakely change this to their common religion or their new religion, it'll save the house for getting attacked. Whereas Denholm, there was a Covenanter priest who, if you see my earlier videos in the graveyard, Reverend Cameron, he was the Reverend or priest or minister doing it Denholm, and he was a Covenanter. So yeah, they played the game. At the same time, obviously they had to be very, very careful. So I'm at the top of this field now, and I'm just about to go here. Under the fence. out of breath. Too many cigarettes. And just there, as you can see, where it gave us house. So there we have it, folks. That's a wee bucket list of mine's achieved as well. Now being able to photograph gave us house, and every season picture possible, excuse me. Yeah, so there we have it, folks. The ancient Kirk walk for Denholm gave us. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope that's not bored you. And we'll call it a day there. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.